The dusty sun hung low over the horizon of Korath 7, a distant desert planet that few humans had ever bothered to explore. Its barren plains stretched endlessly, broken only by the occasional crumbling structure of settlements long forgotten. To most, the planet was a dead world, abandoned and worthless. But to Liam Corvin, it was a treasure waiting to be claimed. He brushed the sand from his boots as he stepped down from the small shuttle. The controls still hummed softly, a reminder that the ship was alive and dependable, a rare luxury on a planet like this. In his hand, he held the digital contract, a simple purchase for 100 credits. He had bought the ghost town online, almost as a joke, imagining the stories he could tell when he returned to Earth. 100 credits for a whole town, he muttered. Someone's bound to think I'm crazy. The town lay before him, exactly as the listing had promised. A handful of crumbling buildings, streets cracked and uneven, and a general silence that seemed to press against his ears. The wind whistled softly through broken windows and over tilted roofs. It was the perfect picture of abandonment. Yet, there was something else, something that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand on end. A faint, melodic hum carried across the streets. Liam paused, listening carefully. It wasn't the wind. It was a voice, soft and clear, singing in a tone that was almost alive. He frowned. Strange, he said to himself. No humans were supposed to live here. The previous owner had abandoned the town decades ago, leaving it to rot under the harsh desert sun. Curiosity drove him forward, feet crunching over the broken stones. As he rounded a corner, he froze. There, in the courtyard of what once might have been a town hall, a figure knelt by a small garden, tending to plants that seemed almost unreal in the dry soil. She was not human. Her skin glowed faintly, like molten gold under the light of the dying sun. Her eyes were large and amber, bright and expressive. Her fingers were long and graceful, moving over the leaves with care. She hummed a song Liam did not recognize, yet it seemed strangely familiar, touching something deep in him. For a moment, neither of them moved. Liam's heart thumped loudly, and he knew she could feel it. Her head tilted slightly, and her glowing eyes met his. There was curiosity there, but also caution. Hello? Liam said, holding up his hands in a gesture of peace. Liam, I bought this town. The alien mother, if she was a mother, paused, her fingers brushing a delicate flower. She did not speak, but the tilt of her head suggested understanding. Liam realized he had no idea how to communicate. He fumbled with his translator device, hoping the low-level AI he had brought along would manage something. Can you understand me? He asked. Slowly. She studied him, eyes narrowing slightly. Then she spoke, or rather, her voice entered his translator, and the device emitted a soft, melodic tone. I am Mira. The name hung in the air like sunlight through dust. Liam's mouth went dry. You live here? He asked cautiously, stepping closer. I thought the town was empty. Mira's hands rested on her knees. Empty. Not entirely. I remain. Remain? Liam echoed. He glanced around the empty streets. Why? Why stay here alone? Mira's gaze drifted to the horizon, to the endless desert that swallowed everything. This place once belonged to my people. They are gone. Wait. Liam's mind raced. His imagination had prepared him for many possibilities, a few stray desert creatures, maybe a scavenger or two, but nothing like this. Not an alien woman living alone in a ghost town. And the technology scattered in the ruins hinted she had survived here for a long time. Her survival was remarkable. You've been alone all this time? He asked, incredulous. Mira nodded, her amber eyes reflecting a mixture of pride and sorrow. Long years. I care. For what remains. For what cannot leave. Liam's eyes fell on the small garden Mira tended. In the middle of the dusty courtyard, small, resilient plants grew, shimmering slightly in the low light. "You've managed to grow this in the desert?" he asked. Her nod was almost imperceptible. "Life must continue." Liam's heart warmed. There was a determination here that humans understood all too well, the unwillingness to give up. Even when the odds were stacked against you, he realized that, in some ways, Mira's survival mirrored human resilience. I didn't expect anyone to be here," he admitted. "I thought the town was, well, empty." Mira's eyes softened slightly, though the glow never dimmed. "Empty. Only for those who do not see." Liam smiled faintly. That sounded like something a wise human elder might have said. He shook his head in wonder. "I suppose I didn't see." They stood in silence for a moment, two beings from entirely different worlds, yet both understanding something fundamental about survival. Liam's mind whirred with possibilities. He had purchased the town for almost nothing, expecting nothing more than a strange adventure. Instead, he had found someone extraordinary. I don't mean to intrude," he said carefully. "I can leave if you want." Mira shook her head. "You may stay. Caution. You carry. But stay. If you wish." Liam exhaled, relief washing over him. "Thank you. I want to help. If I can." She looked at him closely, as if weighing his words against the weight of the years she had spent alone. Finally, she nodded. "Help. Yes. Needed. Maybe." The desert wind picked up, swirling dust around the broken buildings. Yet the courtyard where Mira tended her garden remained strangely calm, almost sacred. Liam realized that this place, though seemingly lifeless, had a heartbeat, and it was Mira who kept it alive. For the first time in his life, Liam felt the thrill of discovery, not the kind that came from money or treasure, but something far rarer. He had stumbled upon a story, a life, a history that had survived against impossible odds, and somehow, he knew that this was only the beginning. He glanced at the crumbling town, then back at Mira. "So, what exactly do you need help with?" Mira's amber eyes softened. "Survive. Wait. Prepare." "Prepare for what?" Liam asked, curiosity and concern mingling in his voice. Mira did not answer immediately. Instead, she pointed to the horizon where the first stars began to twinkle. "They come. Someday." A chill ran down Liam's spine. "They? The ones who took everything," she whispered. Liam's mind raced. Raiders? Invaders? He didn't know, but instinct told him they were dangerous. And yet, as he looked at Mira, he realized that survival here was possible with careful planning, human ingenuity, and cooperation. "Then we'll prepare," he said firmly. "Together." Mira's luminous face softened into something like a smile, though Liam wasn't sure if her species smiled the way humans did. Together, yes. As the sun sank fully behind the jagged horizon, the ghost town no longer seemed empty. Two figures stood in the courtyard, a human and an alien mother, ready to face the unknown together. In the quiet desert, the hum of Mira's song blended with the whisper of the wind. And for the first time in decades, the town felt alive. And Liam knew, deep in his bones, that buying a town for 100 credits had become the best decision of his life. The desert sun rose slowly over Korath 7, painting the ghost town in shades of orange and gold. Liam Corvin woke early, his mind buzzing with the events of the previous day. He had purchased this seemingly empty town for just 100 credits, only to discover a living, breathing inhabitant. A lone alien mother named Mira. The encounter had left him both amazed and unsettled. He stepped out of his shuttle and stretched, looking at the broken streets, the ruins of buildings, and the small garden Mira tended with care. It was strange, he thought, how a place that seemed so dead could feel so alive. He could almost hear it breathing through the quiet wind. Mira appeared from the corner of the courtyard, carrying a small bundle of plants. Her glowing skin reflected the morning light, giving her an almost ethereal appearance. She paused when she saw him. "You, awake early," she said through the translator device. Her voice was soft, melodic, yet carried a tone of caution. "I guess that's what humans do," Liam replied with a small smile. "We like to see what's coming." Mira tilted her head slightly. "See? The future? Yes. Or at least, try to." Liam stepped closer, watching her carefully. "You've been alone here for a long time, haven't you?" Mira's amber eyes darkened. "Long years. Alone, yes. My child, taken. My people, gone." Her voice trembled slightly, though her posture remained strong. Liam's heart tightened. He had expected her to be cautious, but not so sorrowful. "I'm sorry," he said softly. "I didn't know." "You did not know nothing." Mira's words were quiet, almost like a whisper to herself. "I survive. I wait." Liam glanced around at the ruined buildings. "How did you survive all this time? There's barely any water, barely anything to eat." Mira looked at him with something like pride in her eyes. "I learn. I adapt. The desert teaches. Life persists." Her words struck him. They were simple, but they carried a weight he understood. Humans had survived impossible worlds, unknown dangers, and countless hardships. In her, he saw the same determination. "I can help," Liam said, almost without thinking. "I know how to make things work. Water, food, maybe even repair some of the buildings. Together, we can." He stopped. "I don't know what we can do exactly, but we can try." Mira studied him for a long moment. "Try. Yes. Help. Yes. But caution. Needed. They may come." "They?" Liam asked, frowning. "The ones who took my child. The raiders. Return. I wait. Prepare." Liam's pulse quickened. Raiders? Dangerous enemies? And here he was, standing in a town he had thought was empty, facing a situation far beyond anything he had imagined. Yet, something inside him stirred a mixture of fear, excitement, and determination. Humans thrived in challenges like this. "Then we'll prepare," he said firmly. "We'll make sure you're safe." Mira's gaze softened slightly. "Safe. Yes. Together. Maybe." Over the next few hours, Liam explored the town, taking stock of what could be repaired and what was beyond saving. Most buildings were crumbling, but a few had solid walls and roofs. He could make shelters, storage rooms, and workspaces. Using parts from his shuttle and old equipment scattered in the town, he started planning improvements. Mira watched him silently, her glowing eyes reflecting both curiosity and something like admiration. She did not speak much, but when she did, it was always deliberate, precise. "You, clever," she said finally, pointing to a scaffold he had built to reinforce a weak wall. Liam chuckled. "I've had practice. Humans are good at making something out of nothing. You'll see." Mira's eyes followed him as he moved from building to building, inspecting old machinery and planning repairs. Liam noticed small symbols carved into the walls, some glowing faintly. He had no idea what they meant, but Mira seemed to recognize them. "These marks," he asked. "Do they mean something?" Mira nodded. "Old. Magic. Not magic. Technology. My people left. Lessons." "Lessons?" Liam repeated. "Yes. Learn. Survive. Protect. Remember." Liam felt a thrill. He had always been fascinated by alien technology, but here it was, not in a museum or a research station, but living, breathing among the ruins. And now he had the chance to understand it, to combine it with his human skills. By midday, They had set up a small workspace in one of the sturdier buildings. Liam was repairing a small water purifier from parts he had scavenged, while Mira tended her garden. Her alien child's toys, strange, glowing shapes lay scattered nearby, reminders of the family she had lost. Liam wanted to ask more about her child, but he sensed it was too painful. Instead, he focused on practical matters. If the raiders come back, we need a plan. Traps, defenses. Maybe we can make them think the town is still empty, or at least too dangerous to enter. Mira's gaze sharpened. Yes, trap, deceive, protect, child, hope, hope. Liam repeated softly. The word carried weight. They were building more than defenses, they were building trust, teamwork, and a chance at survival. As the day went on, Mira began to show Liam how her people had survived. Tiny devices that could purify air, collect water from the thin desert humidity, and store energy from the sun. Liam marveled at the ingenuity, adapting her methods with human tools and materials. You learn fast, Mira said, a hint of surprise in her tone. You taught me well, Liam replied with a grin. I just had to figure out how to make it work with my tools. Night fell quickly in the desert, and the temperature dropped. Liam had set up a small shelter for himself and another for Mira. They shared a simple meal of rehydrated rations and fruits from her garden. For a moment, the silence of the town felt comforting, as if it had accepted their presence, but just as Liam began to relax, Mira's glowing eyes narrowed. She stood abruptly, staring toward the horizon. They come soon, she said quietly. Liam's stomach tightened. You mean tonight? Yes. Shadows. Moving. Liam rose, heart pounding. Then we need to prepare immediately. Show me what to do. Mira led him to the central courtyard. Old. Devices. Trap. Confuse. Lure. Protect. Together, they moved through the ruins, setting up a network of simple but effective traps. Liam's human engineering complemented Mira's alien technology. Tiny devices that could emit light and sound, hidden in the sand, would alert them to intruders. Broken walls were reinforced to funnel enemies into narrow pathways. The courtyard became a maze of potential dangers for anyone foolish enough to enter. You think like human, Mira said, her tone almost approving. I've had practice, Liam replied. But I'm learning from you too. For hours, they worked side by side, moving silently, speaking only when necessary. Liam felt a deep respect for Mira, not just for her alien abilities, but for her resilience, her intelligence, and the way she never gave up despite unimaginable loss. By the time they finished, the first stars were twinkling above Korath 7. The town was ready, or as ready as it could be. Liam stood in the center of the courtyard, looking at Mira. We're ready, he said. Mira's amber eyes glowed faintly in the moonlight. Ready? Maybe. But cautious. Needed. Liam nodded. Caution. Agreed. They settled in for the night, each keeping watch over the empty streets and the desert beyond. Liam's mind raced with questions about Mira's past, her people, and the child she had lost. But he knew now that this ghost town, which had seemed worthless to him, held life, history, and hope in ways he could never have imagined. As he drifted into a light sleep, he felt a sense of purpose he had never known. He was no longer just a human exploring a dead planet. He was part of a team with a mother who had survived against impossible odds, and a story that was far from over. The desert wind whispered through the streets, carrying the faint hum of Mira's song. It was a song of survival, of patience, of hope, and somewhere out there, beyond the horizon, shadows moved, raiders returning to finish what they had started. But Liam was ready. And with Mira by his side, he knew they had a chance. For the first time, the ghost town felt alive. The desert wind carried a harsh chill that night, blowing sand through the cracked streets of Korath 7's ghost town. Liam Corvin lay in the small shelter he had built near the town's edge, listening to the faint hum of Mira's garden devices. Outside, shadows stretched across the ruined buildings, shifting with every gust of wind. Mira stood nearby, her glowing amber eyes scanning the horizon. "They approach," she whispered. Liam's heart thumped in his chest. "How close?" "Close. Very. Silent. Careful. But strong." Liam rose, his mind working quickly. "Then we need to check the traps. Make sure everything works." They moved silently through the town. Liam inspected the reinforced walls and the makeshift barricades. Mira pointed out spots where alien devices could amplify sounds or send small pulses of light to disorient intruders. Together, they made the defenses as effective as possible. The courtyard, once empty and quiet, now resembled a carefully planned labyrinth of surprises. Liam marveled at Mira's intelligence. Her knowledge of alien technology was extraordinary, but it was her strategic thinking that impressed him most. Each trap, each device, had a purpose. Humans had the ability to adapt, to improvise, but Mira had mastered foresight, planning for every possibility. "We must hide," Mira said softly, gesturing toward the main building. "Yes," Liam agreed. "We'll watch from here. They won't see us until it's too late." The first shadow appeared at the edge of the desert, barely visible in the dim starlight. Liam held his breath, heart pounding. Several more shapes followed, moving carefully but with intent. Raiders. Humans would have called them mercenaries, but these were different, tall, armored, and clearly well-trained. Liam could feel the tension in the air as Mira adjusted her devices, sending subtle signals across the town. "They think empty. Easy prey," Mira whispered. "They're about to learn otherwise," Liam muttered. The raiders advanced, moving past the first set of traps. Small pressure plates triggered, releasing bursts of sand and light. The intruders stumbled, their armor clanging. Liam's heart leapt. Human ingenuity, combined with Mira's alien tech, was working. Mira's hands moved quickly over her devices. Pulses of light flashed across the buildings, confusing the raiders, making it difficult for them to see clearly. Liam watched as some tried to regroup, only to find the reinforced walls and narrow pathways forcing them into confined spaces. "Now, ambush," Mira said softly. Liam and Mira moved silently through the shadows, watching as the raiders approached the courtyard. Liam's mind raced. He had no formal combat training, but humans had a natural ability to adapt and improvise in dangerous situations. He had already studied the town's layout and knew where the raiders would be forced to go. As the first group of raiders entered the courtyard, they triggered hidden pressure plates. Small, bright pulses of light exploded in front of them, blinding them momentarily. Sand erupted from hidden tubes, filling their masks and making them cough. Liam watched with satisfaction. Every step they took brought them closer to confusion. Mira's voice whispered in his ear through the translator. "Control, fear. Use their weakness. They not expect intelligence." Liam nodded, understanding. Humans were often underestimated by stronger or more advanced enemies, but ingenuity was a weapon in itself. They had no brute force here, but they had planning, strategy, and creativity. From above, Liam released a few automated devices he had set up, small drones that buzzed like insects and projected confusing lights. The raiders stumbled again, shouting orders that were useless in the chaos. Liam could see Mira's eyes glowing brighter, a sign she was channeling energy through her devices. Hours seemed to pass in minutes as the battle unfolded. Liam and Mira coordinated silently, guiding the raiders into traps, using the town itself as a weapon. Broken walls became obstacles. Narrow alleyways became corridors of confusion. And every corner hid a surprise. The raiders had strength and numbers, but Liam noticed a weakness. They assumed the town was empty, that no one could survive here. They underestimated humans. They underestimated Mira, and most importantly, they underestimated what two beings from entirely different worlds could achieve together. Liam ducked behind a reinforced wall, watching as one raider reached for a device Mira had planted. A pulse of light sent him tumbling backward, crashing into a sand pile. Liam couldn't help but grin. That's one, he whispered. Mira's voice, calm and steady, replied, many, more. Patience, need. The raiders began to realize something was wrong. Their formation broke as they tried to regroup, but every step led them into another trap. Liam's human creativity paired with Mira's alien foresight turned the seemingly empty town into a maze of danger. One raider managed to reach the central courtyard, swinging a weapon aggressively. Liam's heart raced. He didn't want to fight, but he had to protect Mira. Using a combination of agility and quick thinking, he kicked over a small container of sand, blinding the intruder, and then triggered a light pulse from Mira's device. The raider fell back, stunned. Mira stepped forward, hands glowing faintly, and sent a controlled pulse toward the raider. It was enough to knock him off balance, without causing permanent harm. Liam watched in awe. Mira was not only intelligent and resourceful, she was powerful, and she used her strength with precision and care. Together, they pushed the remaining raiders back toward the desert edge. One by one, the invaders stumbled over traps, into barriers, and through confusion. Liam could feel the tide turning. Human intuition and alien technology were a perfect combination. By the time the last raider realized what had happened, the town was a fortress, alive and ready. The intruders had no idea where the defenders were, or how many were watching. Panic spread among them, and finally, they retreated, disappearing into the desert night. Liam collapsed onto a dusty bench, exhausted but exhilarated. Mira stood nearby, her glowing eyes scanning the town, ensuring no one remained hidden. The night was quiet again, save for the soft hum of her garden devices. You did well, Mira said softly. No, Liam replied, shaking his head. We did well. Together. Mira's amber eyes reflected something Liam had never seen before: trust, respect. A bond forged in the fire of survival. For the first time, she seemed at peace, if only slightly. They may return, she said after a moment. Then we'll be ready, Liam replied firmly. We'll improve the defenses, watch the horizon, and we'll make sure this town is safe. Mira nodded, a small smile flickering across her face. Together, yes. The next morning, Liam and Mira began repairing damage from the previous night. Walls were reinforced further, traps were improved, and surveillance devices were calibrated. Mira showed Liam how to blend human and alien technology, creating new tools to monitor the desert approaches. Liam marveled at how effective the combination was. You, humans. Clever, Mira said, her voice almost approving. Not clever, Liam replied with a grin. We're persistent. We never give up. That's what makes us dangerous. In a good way. Mira's glowing eyes reflected a hint of amusement. Persistent. Yes. Maybe. Survive. For the first time since Liam arrived, the ghost town felt alive with purpose. It was no longer a place abandoned and forgotten. It had become a fortress, a home, and a symbol of what could happen when two very different beings worked together. As the sun rose higher, painting the desert in gold, Liam realized something important. The raiders were not the only challenge. There were mysteries in this town, remnants of Mira's people, and perhaps other dangers he could not yet see. But one thing was clear: humans, with their adaptability and ingenuity, could make a difference. Even on a distant, lonely planet. Mira's child was still out there somewhere, taken by forces unknown. But Liam knew that together, they had the strength, intelligence, and courage to face whatever came next. The ghost town was no longer empty. It was alive, thriving, and ready for the future. Liam looked at Mira. We survived the first night, and we'll survive the next. Together. Mira nodded, her glowing eyes meeting his. Together. Yes. Hope. In the heart of the desert, under the endless sky of stars, a human and an alien mother stood side by side. The raiders had been driven off, but the real journey was just beginning. The town had a heartbeat again, and it was strong, and Liam knew, without a doubt, that human courage and ingenuity combined with alien wisdom, could overcome anything, even the darkest dangers of the desert. The desert of Korath 7 was quiet at dawn. The wind whispered softly over the cracked streets of the ghost town. Liam Corvin stood on the roof of one of the stronger buildings, scanning the horizon with a pair of binoculars. The night had passed without incident. But he knew it was only temporary. "They may come again," Mira said, stepping beside him. Her glowing amber eyes reflected the rising sun, casting soft light across her luminous skin. "Stronger, more cunning. Then we'll be ready," Liam replied firmly. "We've learned a lot. We can make this town more than just a fortress. We can make it a safe place." Mira studied him for a moment, her expression unreadable. "Safe. Yes. But hope. Needed." Liam nodded. He understood. Survival was not enough. They needed to reclaim what had been lost, her child, her family, and the remnants of her people. And perhaps, in the process, humans and aliens could work together to build something extraordinary. For the next several days, Liam and Mira worked tirelessly. They repaired more buildings, reinforced walls, and improved their defenses. Liam taught Mira some human engineering techniques, while Mira showed him alien methods of energy collection, water purification, and communications. The ghost town, once broken and lifeless, slowly became a functioning hub of life. "We learn from each other," Mira said one evening, watching Liam adjust a solar collection device. "Yes," Liam replied. "Humans are good at adapting. You're good at planning. Together, we can do anything." Mira's amber eyes glowed softly. "Together." Yes. The human ingenuity combined with alien technology transformed the town. Small drones monitored the desert. Traps were improved and hidden. And the garden Mira had tended for years expanded into a thriving oasis. The ghost town no longer felt empty, it felt alive. One evening, as the sun dipped below the horizon, Mira approached Liam with a small, glowing device. "This map shows location of child. Others captured by raiders." Liam's heart leapt. "You've been waiting for this moment?" "Yes, long years. Finally, hope." They studied the device together. It showed a distant outpost across the desert, guarded but reachable. Liam realized that this mission would be dangerous. But humans thrived on challenges. He also knew Mira's determination, combined with his resourcefulness, could overcome almost any obstacle. "We leave at dawn," Liam said. "We plan carefully, we move quickly, and we bring your child home." Mira's eyes glowed brighter, a mixture of relief and anticipation. "Together? Yes. Safe? Maybe." The journey across the desert was harsh. Liam piloted a small, reinforced vehicle, with Mira beside him. The heat during the day, and cold at night, tested their endurance. Yet, they pushed forward, navigating through shifting dunes, rocky cliffs, and ancient ruins of settlements long abandoned. Along the way, Liam shared stories of humans surviving impossible worlds, building civilizations from nothing, and learning to thrive under harsh conditions. Mira listened, fascinated by human courage and persistence. In return, she explained the history of her people, the technology they had developed, and the customs they had preserved despite their near extinction. "You humans," Mira said at one point, her voice soft, "clever, brave, strong. You're not so bad yourself," Liam replied with a grin. "Your planning and endurance are amazing." For hours, they drove in silence, relying on Mira's map and Liam's instinct. Slowly, the outpost appeared in the distance, a dark cluster of structures against the golden sand. The raiders' base. As night fell, they approached cautiously. Liam and Mira scouted the perimeter, noting guards, patrols, and the weak points in the outpost's defenses. They planned their approach carefully, combining human stealth tactics with Mira's alien technology. "We Strike carefully, Mira whispered. Quick. Precise. Child. Found. Yes, Liam replied. We'll be smart. No unnecessary risk. Together, we can do this. When the time came, they moved swiftly. Liam used the shadows, distracting guards while Mira disabled security devices with pulses of energy. The outpost was designed for humans or aliens alone, but their combined skills made them almost unstoppable. They navigated the corridors silently, avoiding patrols, disabling alarms, and keeping their focus on the goal. Finally, they reached a small chamber. Glowing faintly, inside was a small figure, Mira's child safe, though frightened. Child, Mira whispered, tears of relief welling in her eyes. The child's eyes widened as Mira approached, enveloping them in a gentle, glowing embrace. Liam felt a surge of pride and relief. Together, they had succeeded where no one else could. The journey back to the ghost town was slower, but filled with hope. Mira held her child close, speaking softly in a language Liam could not understand. Yet the tone was full of love and warmth. Liam smiled, realizing that this small town, once abandoned and empty, had become a place of reunion, hope, and survival. When they returned, the town seemed to welcome them. The devices, the garden, and the traps all hummed softly in the night. Liam and Mira worked together to reinforce the town further, knowing that the raiders might return. But now, they had something worth defending: family, home, and a beacon of hope. Days turned into weeks, and the ghost town transformed completely. The once crumbling structures were repaired, blending human engineering with alien technology. Small energy fields powered lighting and communication devices. The garden expanded, providing food and a safe place for Mira's child to play. Other humans and aliens from nearby colonies began to take notice. Some came seeking shelter, others to trade knowledge and resources. Slowly, the town became a hub of cooperation, a symbol of what could be achieved when species worked together. Liam stood atop one of the tallest buildings, looking out over the town. Mira joined him, holding her child. "We succeed," Mira said softly. "Yes," Liam replied. "We did. And we'll continue. This town can be more than we imagined. It can be a home for many, a place of safety, and a place of learning." Mira's amber eyes glowed softly. Hope returns. Life grows. Together, strong. Over time, the ghost town became known as Haven of Korath, a name chosen by Mira's child. Humans and aliens worked side by side, sharing technology, knowledge, and stories. They repaired other settlements nearby, creating a network of safe havens across the desert planet. Liam often marveled at how far they had come from a town bought for 100 credits to a thriving community, alive with possibility. Human courage, adaptability, and cooperation had turned what seemed worthless into something extraordinary. Mira, once alone, now had a family again, and the town that had been empty for decades now pulsed with life and hope. One evening, as the sun set and painted the desert sky with deep oranges and purples, Liam and Mira stood together on the roof of the main building. Mira's child played nearby, laughing, chasing small glowing drones that Liam had built. "You humans," Mira said quietly, watching Liam. "Your courage, your help, together, strong." "Yes," Liam replied. "Humans survive. Humans adapt. But more than that, humans care. That's what makes us strong. And together, anything is possible." Mira's eyes reflected the sunset, and for a moment, Liam thought he could see hope itself shining in her gaze. The town, the people, and the desert beyond were alive with possibilities. The ghost town, once empty, had become a legacy of survival, cooperation, and courage. In the heart of Korath 7, a human and an alien mother stood together, watching their home grow. And for the first time in decades, the desert felt warm, alive, and full of promise. The journey was not over. Challenges would come. Raiders might return. The universe held dangers yet unknown. But Liam knew one thing for certain: human ingenuity, courage, and compassion could make a difference anywhere, even in the most remote corner of the galaxy. And as the stars blinked above, shining brightly over Haven of Korath, Liam felt a deep, unshakable certainty. This was just the beginning.